China is facing the first major flooding disaster of the season, as relentless torrential rain swept across the southern province of Guangxi, turning streets into rivers and leaving thousands of vehicles submerged under muddy floodwaters. Entire neighborhoods were overwhelmed within hours as powerful storms unleashed an enormous amount of rainfall, triggering widespread chaos, transportation paralysis, and emergency evacuations across several cities and towns. The extreme weather arrived suddenly, catching many residents by surprise during the early hours of the day. Dark storm clouds covered the skies above Guangxi as intense rain bands moved across the region. Within a short period of time, drainage systems failed under the pressure of the heavy downpour. Roads disappeared beneath rapidly rising water, underground parking garages filled like reservoirs, and highways became impassable as floodwaters surged through urban areas. Thousands of cars were left trapped in the devastating flood. Videos shared online showed rows of vehicles almost completely underwater, with only rooftops and mirrors visible above the muddy current. In some districts, powerful streams pushed cars into one another like floating debris. Emergency crews rushed to rescue stranded drivers and residents who became trapped inside buildings surrounded by rising water. The flooding affected both residential and commercial districts throughout Guangxi. Markets, apartment complexes, shopping centers, and industrial zones were inundated as rivers overflowed their banks following continuous rainfall. Local authorities issued multiple emergency weather alerts warning residents to remain indoors and avoid unnecessary travel. Rescue operations intensified as firefighters and emergency response teams used inflatable boats to evacuate people from flooded streets and low-lying communities. Meteorologists described the event as the first major flood emergency of China's current rainy season, raising fears that even more severe weather could follow in the coming weeks. Southern China frequently experiences powerful monsoon rains during this time of year, but officials warn that climate extremes are making storms increasingly unpredictable and dangerous. Some areas reportedly received an entire month's worth of rain in only a few hours. Witnesses described scenes of panic as floodwaters entered homes and underground facilities with incredible speed. Residents attempted to move motorcycles and cars to higher ground, but many vehicles became trapped before escape was possible. Water levels rose so quickly that some people were forced to abandon their cars in the middle of submerged roads. In several locations, muddy currents swept through intersections carrying trash bins, branches, and damaged property downstream. Public transportation suffered major disruptions as railway stations and bus routes were affected by flooding. Traffic across parts of Guangxi came to a standstill as emergency services blocked dangerous roads and redirected vehicles away from heavily flooded zones. Authorities warned that additional rainfall could trigger landslides and flash floods in mountainous regions surrounding the province. The disaster once again highlighted the growing vulnerability of densely populated urban areas during extreme weather events. Experts have repeatedly warned that rapid urbanization, combined with stronger seasonal storms, increases the risk of catastrophic flooding in many parts of Asia. Concrete infrastructure and overloaded drainage systems often struggle to cope with sudden cloudbursts of this magnitude. Social media platforms were flooded with dramatic footage showing the scale of destruction. Videos captured entire parking lots underwater, submerged buses, collapsed roadside structures, and residents wading through chest-deep water while carrying personal belongings above their heads. Rescue personnel could be seen navigating powerful currents to reach stranded citizens as rain continued to fall across the region. Chinese authorities mobilized emergency response teams and disaster management agencies to monitor rivers, reinforce flood barriers, and assist affected communities. Temporary shelters were opened for displaced residents, while officials assessed the damage caused by the flooding. Engineers and cleanup crews were deployed to restore transportation links and remove debris left behind by the storm. Weather experts warned that the flooding in Guangxi could be only the beginning of a dangerous season for southern China. Forecasts indicate that additional storm systems may continue moving across the region, bringing further heavy rain and increasing the possibility of more flash floods in vulnerable provinces. Authorities urged residents to remain alert and follow evacuation instructions if conditions worsen. The devastating scenes from Guangxi serve as another reminder of nature's overwhelming power. Streets transformed into rivers within minutes, entire districts disappeared beneath muddy water, and thousands of cars were swallowed by one of the strongest flood events to hit China this season. As recovery efforts continue, many residents now face enormous financial losses and uncertainty, while dangerous weather conditions persist across the region.